Hello, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Amy from Neurotic Mom Bakes, and I don't know why I'm so excited about this one today. Well, yes, I do. It's so good. I am making orange rolls. They are like the cinnamon rolls, but they have an orange filling and an orange glaze topping. I like these better than cinnamon rolls. Okay, let's start. Yay, I'm excited. Okay, so you're gonna start with my cinnamon roll dough, and we start by, I have a half a cup of milk and a half a cup of cream, and it's warmed up, lukewarm. I'm gonna add that to my mixer. I've got the whisk attachment. And then in here I have 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 tablespoon of yeast. Now I'm using the instant yeast because it's no fail, no guessing, you just throw it in and it's good to go. However, if you have the active dry, don't forget you just need to add it to about 1/4 cup of warm water, about 110 degrees. Let it sit for 5 minutes and kind of activate and get bubbly. Then you can add that. I've got the instant right here. I'm going to crack 1 egg into here. Okay, I'm gonna add 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and I want it really soft, but not like hot, melty. That'll kill the yeast. So I'm just gonna defrost it or cook it for like 10 seconds until it's just barely starting to melt. Just barely starting to melt, just very soft, softened butter. Pull that out. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just start whisking this on low. Let that come together for a second. Okay, just a little bit, and then I'm going to add 1 cup of flour, and then I'm going to switch to the bread hook. And 1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and switch this out and scrape my bowl down. And then we're just going to gradually add flour, a half a cup at a time, until the consistency is just right. And I will show you how to do that. This will take about 3 to 4 cups of flour. That's 2. All right, I'm gonna do 2.5. And then not quite 3, because I don't want to do too much flour. You can always add more, but once you've done too much, the dough is really tough and it just isn't quite as good. Eventually this will all come together, and you'll know it's done because the bowl will be clean because it's pulled everything off. All right, let's do a check. So it started to come together, and it shouldn't stick to your fingers at all. And it should come cleanly off the dough hook. It's not quite there, it's still a little bit sticky. There's still some on the bottom of the bowl, and it didn't come off cleanly. So I'm just gonna add like 2 tablespoons more. Be very careful, don't overdo it. All right, it's really close. Okay, this only took me about 3 cups of flour. If you live in a more humid climate, it's probably gonna take a little bit more flour. Just wanna test the consistency of this. Yeah, it fell off I think we're good. I think we're gonna go with that. All right, now I'm gonna lightly flour my surface, and I'm just going to do some kneading. And you're just gonna knead until the dough passes the window pane test. And if you've watched my other recipes with any yeast bread, you'll know that when you go to pull the dough facing like a light or a window, you can see light through it before it breaks. And that means you have developed enough gluten to give a nice rise to the bread and make it nice and light and fluffy and not dense. And if you're doing this by hand, it's gonna take 3 to 5 minutes, maybe a little more. You can also let your KitchenAid mixer do some of it for you, but I find it just kind of whips it around. It doesn't really knead. All right, let's give it a test. So I'm gonna start stretching it, and see how you can start seeing light in there, and it hasn't broken yet. Ooh, that's pretty good already. Okay, I'm just gonna knead it a little bit more. That was pretty good. it stretched quite a bit before it broke. So I'm gonna give it like 30 more seconds. All right, I think that'll do it. So now I'm just gonna kind of form a ball, and we're going to do the first rise. So I have a pan here and I've sprayed it with some cooking spray, just lightly. I'm gonna drop that in, cover it with plastic, and just set it aside to rise. If you find a warm spot in your kitchen, it will rise quicker, the warmer it is. But you want it to double in size, approximately. So it'll take anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes, just kind of depending on how warm your kitchen is. Okay, I have my dough here. It's about double in size, and we are ready to roll it out and add the filling. For the filling, I have 1 1/4 cups of granulated sugar here, and I have 4 tablespoons of butter that I'm gonna melt. I've got my melted butter here, 4 tablespoons. I have some freshly squeezed orange juice. I'm not gonna use all of this, but I like to do it all at once. And then I have some orange zest here. And I'm just gonna start by adding the butter. It's gonna start to kind of form a paste. And then I'm going to slowly add some orange juice until I get the texture that I want. Well, that's looking good. That is perfect. So just like 2 to 3 tablespoons is all I used of the orange juice. That is a perfect paste. And then just for some flavor, I'm gonna add some orange zest. Ah, beautiful. So good. So, so good. Save the rest of this zest for later. I am going to flour my surface pretty well. And then I'm going to get my dough. And we're gonna start rolling. You're gonna try to do it in a square or rectangle. And the thinner you can roll it, the more surface area for the filling, it'll just be that much more flavor. So I like to get it as thin as possible. Okay, so I have it about 1/4 inch thick, maybe slightly less. All right, that looks good. We're gonna start spreading this paste all over. Get it right to the edges, like within 1/4 inch if you can. At this point, I'm going to get my little knife just to kind of smooth it out a little. There, that looks pretty good. Now we roll. I like to start on the short end, and the tighter you can get it, the better. There we go. I'm just going to get a little more flour here. I'm going to move this over here and just kind of shape it, kind of round it out a little bit. And then I'm gonna get my pan. So I have a 9 by 13 pan here, and with all that granulated sugar in here, it makes for a really sticky center. So it's best if you can line your pan with some parchment and give it a nice spray with the cooking spray, and that'll just help it with the sticking. Okay, remember my floss trick? I get asked a lot why I use the floss. And the reason is you're cutting from the outward in, so it's equal force, and you're gonna keep that round shape. Whereas if you have a knife, you're gonna press it down, you have the flat bottom, it smushes it down. Okay, first thing, we'll just cut off the ends here. Don't throw these away, they are perfectly delicious. Just put the inside down. And I'm going to go about 1 inch to 1.25 inches thick. Let's see, we keep that nice, lovely swirl. Spread them out slightly in the pan, give them room to rise, because we are going to do a second rise until, again, they're about double in size. And the last one right there. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cover this with some plastic again and let it rise another 30 to 60 minutes until they're double in size. Okay, here they are. They're about double in size and ready to go in the oven. Make sure you take the plastic wrap off. My oven is heated to 325 degrees and they are going to go in until they just start to get golden brown, which is going to be about 25 to 30 minutes. My orange rolls are out of the oven. See how golden brown they are? Those are perfect. Now we're going to make the glaze. All you need is butter, powdered sugar, orange juice, and orange zest. So I have 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter in here, and it's almost melted, but not quite. And I'm gonna add about 1.5 to 2 cups of powdered sugar. We might as well just finish that off. And just start stirring that around. And then I'm going to add fresh orange juice, like a tablespoon at a time, until it's the consistency that I want. That's looking pretty good. Although I think I want it just a tiny bit thicker, so I'm gonna add a hair more powdered sugar. All right, that's perfect. Okay, don't forget the zest. There is so much flavor in the zest. So I added about a tablespoon and a half. My my orange rolls are still pretty warm. I've let them cool down about maybe 5-10 minutes. And oh my gosh, if you could smell this. Honestly, I think this is in my top, it's gotta be in my top 3 favorite desserts of all time. It's so good. It's just that good. Okay, shall we bite into one? Yes, we should. Just move this out of the way and get a plate. Let's go right here. That parchment made all the difference. So much easier to pull it out of the pan. Let me get a fork. I cannot wait to dig into this one. Yep, these are just so good. I'm gonna finish that in just a minute. But please try this one out. I am dying to know if you like this as much as I do, and if you are team cinnamon roll or team orange roll, because I think these beat the cinnamon rolls. So just make sure to subscribe to my channel if you would love to see more content like this, and I will see you next time. Bye. I'm gonna dig in. It's just so good. It's so good.